Hello and welcome back to the Physical Media Room. In today's video we're going to be talking about my video game backlog. This is something that pretty much any physical media collector can probably relate to, because sometimes it just seems a whole lot easier to buy a whole bunch of video games than it is to play them. But this year I have decided that I am going to go through my backlog and I am actually going to complete a lot of these games that have just been sitting on my shelf for a long time. Some of them maybe not sitting as long as others because I'm still trying to play some of the newer games that are coming out and things like that. But we're also going to talk about all the games I've actually been playing to complete my backlog, and we're going to be talking about how I actually have achieved this. So basically, starting out, like, my whole plan to get through my backlog is just trying to focus on one game at a time. Now there might be sometimes where like I'm playing a really long RPG or something like that, or just a longer story game, and I just want something in the middle to break that up. So like I'll play something shorter like a horror game or like a racing game or something like that. But for the most part, I'm trying to stick to just one game at a time, and I think that's really been helping me out to get through my backlog. So with me, I have, 5 games that I've actually completed and a few games that I started but did not complete, because that's another thing with going through the backlog, is that you can't force yourself to play a game that you're not liking or just not feeling at that time. So you got to give yourself the option to move on from a game. One of the big things I've been doing though is I've been trying to give the game at least, 1 to 2 hours, maybe a little longer, before I decide to move on if I'm not enjoying it. And sometimes that may be something that I'll enjoy more later on, but I'm just not in the mood for that game right now. It can be really hard to just focus and stick to one game, because then you have all these other games sitting on your shelf, you feel like they're waiting to be played, and that you almost want to play another game more. But as long as you're enjoying that game, I found that it's not too hard to just stick to one game. For now, let's go ahead and get into the games I've actually been playing, and we're going to talk a little bit in detail about these games too, and how I felt about them, and I guess probably also how easy it was to complete these, or if it was a little bit of a struggle for me to get through them. But the first game that I started this year, and this was actually before I decided I was going to play through my backlog, this kind of started everything for me, and that was the Silent Hill 2 remake. Now, this game is absolutely fantastic. They did such a good job of remaking the original Silent Hill 2. This is just as good, if not better, than some of the Resident Evil remakes. I had never finished the original Silent Hill 2 either. It was just something that I think the older controls made it a little bit more difficult for me to get through. But I really enjoyed this one. It was very, very scary. The atmosphere was just on par, if not better than the older games. And this game really did scare me. Like, I remember many times me having to put the controller down and just stop playing this game because it was just so scary. But Silent Hill 2 Remake kind of started my journey of playing through my backlog, and this one, of course, isn't a super long game, so it was an easier one for me to beat, other than me having to put the controller down just from being scared. Like, I think I beat this in like maybe the matter of like a week, which is pretty good for me, because also keep in mind I do have a full-time job and things like that, so all these games are things that I'm playing in my free time. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game, and this is the first game I decided to play whenever I decided I was going to go through my backlog, and that is Transformers War for Cybertron. This game has been on my backlog for a very long time. I love Transformers. It's probably one of my favorite like growing up, it was one of my favorite animated series, and I loved the movies and everything. And I had heard that this is probably one of the best Transformers games out there. There's a couple other that might have their name in the hat too to be the best Transformers game, but this is definitely one of them. And I finally played through this entire game. It's not a very long game, so that also helped with me actually completing it. But I really like Transformers War for Cybertron. It's a really good, basically just third-person shooter where you're playing as either the Autobots or the Decepticons. And of course you have like the car combat with the Autobots, and then with some of the Decepticons you also have the air combat. But this was just a really good game, and this is a game that you could beat in like a matter of a couple days if you're sticking to it. So if you haven't played this one though, I highly recommend it. There's also a sequel, Transformers Fall of Cybertron, which I'm very excited to try out, but I don't have that one yet, so as soon as I get it, I'm definitely going to play that one as well. The next game I played through on my backlog was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Now, this is a more recent game, so it hadn't been on my backlog for a super long time. I think you'll see with the beginning of this series, I played a lot of newer games that I was really looking forward to, and I think that also helped me get into the mindset of defeating my backlog too, because these are newer games that I should be playing anyways. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, I really did like this game. I think that if you're looking for more of an action-oriented like combat game, that's not necessarily what you're going to get from this. This is more of a puzzle and adventure kind of game, and there's a lot of stealth to it. And I will say the times that you do get into hand-to-hand combat, or like you have like a melee weapon or something, those parts can be pretty fun, but the game is not built around you trying to go around and get into combat with everybody. The idea is to kind of sneak around and actually go through undetected most of the time. But I really enjoyed this one. I enjoyed going through the different tombs and things like that and discovering like artifacts and things. I also think the story in this game is probably honestly a lot better than than either of the last two Indiana Jones movies that have come out. So and I love Indiana Jones like so much, so it was just really refreshing to get this game and for it to be really good. So that was the third game I played through in my backlog, and I would say it wasn't too difficult to finish. It's only about like a 15 to 20 hour game at most. There's definitely a lot of extra side stuff you can do to make it longer, but I think I beat it in about 15 hours, and it wasn't too difficult for me to get to that point. So okay, next up that I played is Ghost of Yotai. Yet again, another pretty new game, so hasn't been on my backlog for a long time, but I absolutely love Ghost of Tsushima. That was one of my favorite games of like the exclusive PlayStation games from last generation, so I knew I had to pick this one up and play it. Now, being completely honest, this is probably mostly just a continuation of what you saw in the first game. Of course, it's a different character, different story, but the fighting mechanics and the world building and everything, it's all very similar to the first one, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because the first game was like a masterpiece, and this did still add some different like fighting stances and things like that that I think made the game feel fresh. But also just you can't go wrong with the combat in these games. It's so much fun. The world is beautiful, the story is great, so everything about this game I absolutely loved. And this one was not hard for me to beat at all, because I remember when I started playing through this one, it was just every day when I came home from work, that was like what I wanted to do, was to play Ghost of Yotai. And I think I finished it. I think we got rained out a couple days at work, and I think I finished this within like 3 or 4 days, so like 25 to 30 hours worth of gameplay that I just finished in a couple days. So Ghost of Yotai, absolutely fantastic game, and I'm happy that I was able to beat it and knock it off my backlog. Okay, next up we actually have a couple of games that I didn't complete, that I just either wasn't feeling at the time, or I had played like a whole bunch of it and just needed a break from it kind of thing. Some of these I may go back to, some of them I may not. So the first one is, and it's unfortunately just in one of these GameStop cases, but it's Numata. And what Numata is like a indie horror game. It's very much supposed to be mimicking like the Resident Evil games and things like that. But when I was playing this, like, it's definitely a very low budget game, and I get that. I play a lot of like indie horror games and things, but for some reason I couldn't really get into this one. I just felt like I don't know, the combat in it was weird and it didn't really work out great, and there was a lot of parts that I caught myself getting stuck at because the map and the world that was built just wasn't very clearly explained, and it just kind of made it difficult for me. It might be something I go back to eventually because I'm about halfway through it and it's not a very long game, but at the time I was like, this is going to put a huge slowdown on me getting through my backlog, even though it's a short game, just because I didn't really feel myself wanting to play it. So I kind of set that one aside for now. I might go back to it eventually, but that also might be one that I just never finish. And that's the thing with playing through your backlog, is that it is okay if you decide you don't want to finish a game. That just probably means that that game isn't for you, or that you need to come back to it at another time, which is an example of this next game I have, just something I need to come back to because it's such a long game and also a very difficult game, I feel like. So the next one is Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, I also didn't finish this game. I put over 20 hours into it, and I was really, really enjoying it. I really enjoyed this game. I don't know why I stopped playing it. I really think the only reason is because it was just a little bit difficult for me. I think I got to a spot where I definitely needed to go grind some more and level up before like continuing on with the story. And it was just something where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna move on to another game and we'll come back to this one later. So next time I do go back to this one, I'm gonna have to kind of remember some of the controls and things, but I don't think it'll be too hard for me to get back into, but I do intend on eventually going back to finishing this game at some point. And the next one up is one that definitely was not on my backlog for very long, so Resident Evil 9 Requiem. So this one I actually picked up, I think like the same week, maybe a week after it came out, but of course I had to play this. I absolutely love the Resident Evil franchise, and you know, I played Resident Evil 8 I think actually day one, so this one was one that I had to pick up, and being able to play as Leon again was awesome. This had not the best Resident Evil story by any means, but oh my gosh, this might be one of the scariest Resident Evils I've played in a long time. I will say that the different sections, so the like playing as Grace versus playing as Leon, playing as Grace was a lot more scary because you had less equipment, not as good of weapons, and things like that. But the Leon parts were just really fun and just nonsense action, and I really enjoyed it. And I think, well, there is technically alternate endings to this game, but I think there's only one ending that's actually canon. And so the good thing is if you get the wrong ending, as soon as the credits roll, it goes back to like the final scene and lets you redo it so you get the proper ending. But it does kind of make me wonder why they even did two endings in the first place. But either way, Resident Evil Requiem was so good, very scary. And I actually played through this with my wife and two of my other friends. It's just some fun for us to all sit around and play a scary game. And I think we all enjoyed this one very much. And this one was really easy to knock off my backlog just because of how much I love the Resident Evil franchise. But yeah, so that is the final game, and this is so far where I'm at with my backlog. 2 games not finished and 5 games completed. So I'm off to a pretty good start. Okay, so I started this back in April. And of course, I've played more than this, but since we're doing a series out of this, I only wanted to do the first 5 that I actually completed. So we're doing really well on completing the games, and it's been pretty easy for me to stick to one game, as long as I give myself the option to move on if I'm not feeling a game or something like that. But getting through my backlog is something that's going to be really good for me. And then once I do that, I feel like I can go out and finally add more stuff to the collection and things like that, and not feel like I'm just adding to that endless, overwhelming backlog. And I've still got a long way to go with this journey, and I plan on taking y'all with me the whole way and telling y'all what I've been playing and what I haven't been playing because I didn't like it or something like that. So, but anyways, that's what I've played through so far. And if you are interested in hearing more and interested in getting through your backlog on your own, definitely stick around for this series. It shouldn't be too much longer before I get another video out talking about the next 5 games that I've played through. And I'm really excited for this. I'm so happy that I've gotten to play all these games. Honestly, it would be kind of difficult to pick a favorite out of these that I've played, but it's probably between these 3 right now. So we've got Ghost of Yotai, Silent Hill 2 Remake, and Resident Evil Requiem. So those are probably some of my favorite games that I played through in this stack. I don't know, man, because Indiana Jones and Transformers War for Cybertron were also amazing. So I just played a lot of really good games for this. But that is it for today's video, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed, and if you did, please hit the like and subscribe button below, and I'll see y'all in the next video.